Everybody, Holly here from HolliDay AnyDay. Today I thought we'd do something kind of fun with eggplant. We don't cook with eggplant that often, and it's kind of, I forget about it, but it's really yummy. So we're gonna make an eggplant rollatini. And what that means is we're gonna take eggplant, we're gonna prepare it in real thin slices, and then we're going to bake it, and then we're gonna roll it up with a filling and bake it with marinara sauce. So it's almost like a lasagna, sort of, without the pasta. But first we gotta do our eggplant. So the best way to do that is, we're gonna go ahead and peel our eggplant. I just peeled it with a knife. I'll show you how we're gonna do that. I'm just gonna cut down the sides because we don't want any of the skin. And we're basically just going to give ourselves like a little brick in the middle to work with. And we're gonna make it today with pine nuts and ricotta cheese. You totally could use, you know, sausage if you wanted or something like that, but we'll keep it vegetarian. So all we're gonna do is take our big eggplant guy and let's get rid of that extra little bit of skin. And we're gonna cut it. Remember, we're looking for big flat slices that we can spread something on. So we're cut it thin, maybe about 1/4 inch. You could do this on a mandolin if you wanted, but it's not that hard to cut. See what we've got? All we're gonna do is that. So we're gonna cut some of these guys up. And before we do anything with it, we're gonna have to salt it. Because when you salt the eggplant, it gets rid of the bitterness and it's gonna take some of the extra water out. So all you wanna do is just set it on a sheet pan with paper towels, or on a rack if you had a rack. And just give it a little quick salt. Okay? Then we're gonna let it sit for 15 minutes, then we'll rinse it off, and then I'll show you the next step. We'll put it in the oven. Okay, so my eggplant has been hanging out salted for about 15-20 minutes. And let me show you how it looks. You can see on the surface, it definitely releases some moisture. You can see on the towel. So all we're gonna do, you could rinse them if you want. I'm just gonna use a paper towel. And we're just gonna brush that little extra salt off. And we're gonna go ahead and put them on some sheet pans that I've just covered with foil just to make cleanup easier. Okay. And these are big guys. I made this the other night, smaller eggplant, so I did more. But you know, you could plan on 3 or 4 rolls a person, shall we say? You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. Let's just give these guys a quick little wipe also. Okay, so there we go with that. So now I'm going to show you what we're going to do with these little guys. So let's place these so they've got a little more room. They're pretty big, like I said. That guy there, okay. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brush them with olive oil and give them a spritz of salt and pepper. And you know, eggplant's gonna totally absorb the olive oil. It's like a little sponge. We'll just help them cook a little. All we're doing really on this step is softening them so we can roll them. You could also, I'm gonna do it in the oven. You could totally do this in a grill pan or do it on your barbecue. That'd be easy enough too. You just have to keep an eye on them. This way you can just stick them in there and not worry about them. And they'll soften up and they'll shrink up a little bit too. Let me do this. Okay. Okay. So there's that. And then I'm just gonna pepper, a little salt, pepper, a little salt. Now they're gonna go in the oven at 400 degrees. We're gonna do it for about 15 minutes till they get a little soft and pliable, and I'm gonna spin them around at about halfway through the 15 minutes. Okay, these guys have been cooking for about 8 minutes. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pull them out and just flip them over. so the other side can get, so they can evenly get kind of toasted. They might stick a little bit. I didn't spray this with anything, but nothing major. So just do all of these, and then we're gonna put it back in for 7.5 minutes. It's smelling good in here. The eggplant's done. Let's pull it out. Like I said, we did it 7.5 minutes per side. See, it's gotten nice and thin, very, very pliable. But obviously it's really hot right now. So we need to let it cool. And honestly, I would say you could probably make this a few hours ahead if you wanted. Would work just fine. So we'll let it cool, and then I'm gonna show you how to make the filling and how to assemble it from here on. Okay, so the eggplant has cooled, and you see it's gotten a little more flexible, a little easier to deal with. So we're gonna set that aside for now. So our stuffing. So I've got some ricotta cheese here. To it, I'm gonna add some defrosted spinach that I've squeezed all the water out, or as much water as you can. Okay, we're gonna add that to that. We're gonna add a couple of beaten eggs. And like I said, you could pretty much put anything in here that you wanted. The eggs are gonna help bind it all together. We've got a couple of cloves of minced garlic for a little pizzazz. A little mozzarella and parm. Oops, let me turn that off real quick. That was my timer. Mozzarella and parm. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add some pine nuts. I made this the other day without the pine nuts, and it's totally yummy without the pine nuts. But I kind of like it. It gets little nuggets of kind of toasty sweetness in there. Okay. We'll shoot it with a little salt and pepper. The salt shaker needs a battery. Okay, so let's give this a stir. There we go. Looks pretty tasty just like it is. But now what we're gonna do, okay, so let's take a plate to roll it on. I'm gonna put it in a casserole dish. We're gonna start with a little bit of our marinara sauce on the bottom, just to give it a little base and help it not stick. These could totally be done flat if you wanted to not mess around with the rolling. It would almost just be like lasagna kind of idea, but without the pasta. So we're gonna come back to that later. So here's how we're gonna do this. You're gonna take these little guys, okay? And I'm gonna take a dollop of my cheese. I'll do 2 at a time and show you. And then all we're gonna do, show you a better way, is take this and roll them up, just like that. And then just set it seam side down. Once again, just gonna roll them up, seam side down. And we're just gonna repeat that with the rest of these guys. Okay, we just finished up the last one, and look at, I planned perfectly. They fit exactly in my little casserole dish. How cute are those? Oh my gosh, little dudes. So now, let's take some more of our marinara. Now, I just got this out of a jar. Feel free to make it yourself if you like, but you know, it is called easy breezy cooking, right? So we don't really wanna have to do too much if we don't have to, but sauce is easy to make. We'll do that on another show. So let's just cover these guys up. It's again, kind of lasagna-esque, I guess one would say. Okay. Then some more mozzarella and parm. Give it a good sprinkle. I'm going to cover this with foil and put it in the oven for about half an hour at 400 degrees. And then we'll take the foil off and let the top get all brown and bubbly for like another 10 minutes. There we go. Our eggplant's been in the oven for about half an hour. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to uncover him. Squeaky. And look at this. Sticking a little bit, but let's uncover him so he can get all browned and bubbly on top. Okay? And we'll put him back in for about 15 minutes. Just so I get a little toasty on top and bubbly. Hey everybody. So our eggplant rollatini cooked for the final 15 minutes uncovered. And then I pulled it out and let it sit for about 15 minutes so it can set up, get a little kind of tight. So let's see how it looks. We'll serve up a little bit and have a taste. I'm just gonna serve it. I mean, there's a lot going on here, so I'm just gonna serve it with a really simple green salad, okay? These usually hold up pretty good. That's why we let it rest a bit. Look how cute. Oh, aren't those the cutest little things you've ever seen? Check that out. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Then let's give it with a little jazz of fresh basil. And that's like absolutely perfect. So let's give it a taste though, okay? Put this out of the way. This is so good. It's so good. Such a nice little, kind of a fancy dish, but not too fancy. It's still pretty hot. And this, actually, you can make it everything a day ahead and then just cook it the day of. Just as an FYI there. So hopefully I'm not going to burn my mouth. Let's see. That is so good. With a little bit of red wine. That's so tasty. You gotta try this. It's really easy. It seems a little fancy, but it's really easy. And it's kind of a showstopper. Give it a go. It's easy breezy.